you guys all for coming. Really appreciate it. As more people are coming in, we're just going to do introductions. This is our high school informational, as hopefully you all know. And the point of this really is to just introduce you guys to some high school related topics that you may not be thinking about, to kind of just get you guys thinking about high school overall, and then to add as many tools to like your high school tool belt as possible. And we have, sophomores here, junior here. We have sophomores, juniors, seniors. I didn't get any freshmen, but hopefully it's good enough. We're going to start with introductions, like I said. So, hi, I'm Nathan Black. I'm an 11th grader at Oak Grove. And then Mr. Romero, your turn.
Hi, my name is Isaac Romero, and I'm a sophomore at Oak Grove.
Hi, I'm Britney Nguyen. I'm a senior, and I'm also from Oak Grove.
Miss Jade Almeria, do you want to go?
Hi, I'm Jade Almeria, and I'm a freshman at Oak Grove.
Hi, I'm Chelsea Spears, and I'm a senior at Oak Grove.
Hi, I'm Princess Blanco, and I'm a junior at Silver Creek.
Hi, I'm Kristella Chavez. I'm a junior at Oak Grove.
Hi, I'm Frank. I'm a junior at Oak Grove as well.
What's up, guys? I'm Kenneth Nguyen, and I'm a senior at Oak Grove.
Hey guys, I'm Joy, and I'm a freshman at Andrew Hill.
Hello, I'm Michelle, and I'm a junior at Andrew Hill.
Hi, I'm Karen Bell, and I'm a freshman at Oak Grove.
Thank you, guys. I'm sorry, I did get freshmen. I just don't consider Karen and Joy freshmen. They're just so mature. I apologize. But yes, the way that this is going to work is basically it's an open discussion. So if you guys have any questions at all about high school, now's the time to ask, and we'll jump into it and hopefully answer as many of your questions as possible. So I think you guys should all have access to the little chat thingy. If you want to just type those in now, that'd be great. Otherwise, we're just going to jump into a few topics that my speakers and I wanted to cover, or anything in general that we think like would be helpful for you guys. So I'll give it a minute, and if we don't get anything, then we'll just jump into that. But yes, thank you all so much for coming. And this whole thing is being recorded so that hopefully, sorry, I didn't make sense for that, but hopefully you guys can use this resource later in the year, and it'll be uploaded to our YouTube and stuff. And then also alongside that, there's going to be like a link of different resources that you guys can use, along with a little questionnaire that I gave to other high school students, so you get as many perspectives as possible. And since we don't have any questions coming in, it looks like we'll just jump into how can you guys start preparing for high school now? I don't know if any of my guest speakers want to like give an example of how to do that, or I can start it off. Anyone want to jump in?
I think there's a question in the chat.
There was a question? Oh, shoot.
Yeah,
I'm
there's
sorry.
a question.
Let's do that one then. I guess I'm just slow. How difficult is high school from every individual one of you? Do you want to go down the line, or I guess I'll start if anyone wants to say anything significant, or like I think we'll all say the same thing. It's as difficult as you kind of make it. It depends on what classes you pick, what you want to get into, and then also just how much effort and planning you put into everything. Does anyone else have anything to say on that?
I can talk. I mean, I think if you just do what you like and just experiment with high school, because high school is like this huge like place where you can just take a lot of classes and just for fun. So I mean, if you experiment and do what you like, it shouldn't be too difficult. Just maybe homework, but I mean that's always going to be a problem. So yeah, other than that, it should be fun.
Yeah, I don't think you want it to be easy, because I mean then you're just wasting time. And again, at any time throughout this whole thing, if you want to leave questions about anything at all or something related to what we're talking about, please do so. I'll try to pay attention to it so we can answer your questions as soon as possible. But then yeah, we'll just jump into, like I said before, how can you guys start preparing for high school? If any of the speakers have anything they want to add on that. I know Kenneth said he wanted to say something.
Oh, about the individual experience thing, like Nathan and Isaac mentioned a lot about the academics aspect, but I think something that people tend to undermine is like the social aspect of high school, because like when it comes to high school, your social life, you're gonna like meet a lot of new people, and like you're gonna meet like people that you might want to be friends with, might not want to be friends with. You're gonna learn like what you want to prioritize and like who you want to talk to, and like what kind of person you are, like extroverted, introverted, or sometimes it's okay to be both as well, like different times in your life as well.
Okay. Yes, thank you for the question. Moving on. Um, so the transition from ideally, typically, information was be given to like eighth graders and stuff. I hope we do have seventh graders too. I don't know, but the transitional period from like the summer of eighth grade to freshman year can be pretty like hard because it's so just nerve wracking and it's just like a lot coming up. So um, you guys should use that time to maybe just prepare yourselves in different ways. And some of the things I had written down, like that you guys can do, is talk to your older siblings about high school, maybe, or even coming to this is good because I mean that's helpful. You have all these people here who have their own experiences, um, and then yeah, do any of you guys want to talk about like how you spent that time and how you wish you'd maybe spent that time? Because I know that that time for me was very interesting to say the least.
I can go. I think it was a long time ago, so hopefully I'm remembering this correctly. But I tend to be an overthinker, so I think between the summer of eighth grade and freshman year, I was very worried about like the classes that I chose and like if I made the right decision, because entering high school, you know, like everything is going to count towards college, and that's kind of like scary, and you had no one to really guide you to choose your freshman classes. So just knowing that like everything will be okay, and like talking to older like upperclassmen, like Nathan said, you can talk to older siblings or even us right now. Just knowing that you have the support around you, and like it's okay to make mistakes. Just knowing that you have the resources and preparing yourself mentally, like give yourself a break before high school and just enjoy your time being young. But yeah, I think that's my advice. Just don't overthink, and it's okay to make mistakes.
You sound so old. Um, we will. I'll get to that question in a second, but I did just want to add on to what Brittany said. We have done like two of these before, and typically what always comes up is like when planning for high school, you kind of have to know what you want to do after high school, which is a little bit of the sucky thing because it'll just help you to like plan for all of your classes and see where you want to prioritize your stuff. But it's just a little bit difficult. So yes, if you can spend the summer figuring out maybe what you want to do after high school and talk to different people, that would help you. To your question, how high is your GPA supposed to be in order to join a sport? I have one number in mind, but I don't know for sure. Does anyone here know for sure how high it has to be?
It's a 2.0, I believe, but there are some sports where the requirement is 2.0 and no Fs. Yeah.
So very doable. Very doable. The academic side is just as important. And then what year is it you can join CCOC? I don't know what that is. Does anyone know what that is? Or can you explain maybe what that is? I'm not familiar with it. Okay.
CCOC is the thing where they go to like off of campus, I believe.
SCVTE? Isn't that,
Yeah.
or did the name change? Oh, okay. SCVCE is like it's basically, do you want to explain it, Brittany? You can do it better than I can. Go ahead, Brittany.
Okay. To my knowledge, CCOC or SBCTE is when you take, it's like, if you know what a vocational education is, where you go and you don't technically learn things like specific subjects, but you go get like hands-on experience in a career that you're interested in, basically. So like, you could go take a pre-nursing kind of science course where you get hands-on experience with that, or like something business related, just to see what you're interested in and to test out like different careers that you would want to be in. And it's when you go off of campus for, I believe, like 3 or 4 hours during the day, like you take a bus and you go there directly, and then you come back to school to finish like 1 or 2 classes on campus.
And to answer your question, you can do it during, I believe, your junior and your senior year. And yeah, exactly as Brittany said, it's all hands-on stuff. So like, I think there's some engineering stuff, there's some animating stuff, there's cooking, nursing. So yeah, if you're like eager to just start figuring stuff out hands-on or trying to get some experience, maybe if you don't know what you're doing, it'd be a good way to try and figure out and see where you are. I think there's also like electrical engineering, so a lot of good stuff on that. Yes, okay. And speaking of classes, I don't know if it's a raffle to get into SAVTE or whatever it's called, but I would talk to your counselor at OG. I would specifically talk to Mrs. Armstrong. Okay, so then yeah, it does have selected spots. So if you are interested in that, maybe try and ask around once you're established at high school, and maybe try and join for that as soon as possible. But again, you kind of can worry about that in your junior and senior year more so, but it is good to have like a plan of where you want to go and stuff. So yes. Okay, and then he left. Okay. Okay, so talking about classes, what are some classes that we're all taking that we think students should take or they shouldn't take? And then how do we go about managing some of those classes? Does anyone want to start?
I think like a lot of people mention AP classes as an important part of high school, but I mean like it's definitely very rigorous and good preparation, but I don't think we should be trying to like incentivize it just in case the coursework or like workload is too much for some people.
Thank you for okay. To explain to anyone who may not know, there are different like levels of classes in high school, right? So I believe you have your normal regular classes, and then you have AP classes, which are advanced placement college level classes, and then in A Hill only, I think you have IB classes, right? I don't know if Michelle wants to talk about that and maybe explain how that works and the benefits and stuff. I don't know if you're in one, Michelle. Sorry to put you on the spot. I just know it's at A Hill only.
It's okay. I am in an IB class, but honestly, not many students at Andrew Hill know fully how it works. Honestly, I would say going into high school, especially like your freshman year, a lot of people, or most people, will go into your first year really not knowing like what they're doing. So you won't be alone, definitely. And as for classes you're picking, honestly, your first year is generally like the general education, and then you have like a few spots open. So unless you join a program, I don't know if Oak Grove has it, but Andrew Hill has like art programs and medical programs, which also have required classes. But other than your required classes, a lot of people tend to figure it out on the way. So like trust the process, I would say. When it comes to IB classes, going back, it's not the same as AP classes because it doesn't always count for credit for like college per se. But yeah, you can search it up online. There's a lot of information about it. So you search up like IB program. Yeah.
Thank you, Michelle. And thank you for the resources. I appreciate that. Sorry. Um, the medical program you're talking about is a medical magnet, right? And the art magnet, that's what it was once called a while ago. I don't know if it's still called that.
Yeah. I don't know about Oak Grove, but Andrew Hill, yeah, we have several programs like the multimedia program, the medical magnet program, social justice, I think, and then like several other ones. I'm not sure, but you can look them up on the Andrew Hill website, I'm pretty sure. And basically, like most of them are 4-year programs, which means each year you will have at least like one class that is required by that program, and it generally focuses around whatever topic that program is about. Say, for example, multimedia, you would have like several required art classes, like photo and multimedia.
Yeah, so if you kind of know like where you want to go, if you want to go in the medical field and you're going to A Hill, it'd probably be good to go through the magnet because again, like I said in the beginning, in order to plan for high school, it's best to know where you're going to go after high school so that you can get as many classes that would make sense to go into that field or such. Thank you again, Foot. You're amazing. I appreciate it. Every resource Foot is putting on in the chat, I'll try and put on the description of the video too. But again, you guys won't really have to worry about that your first freshman year because I don't think there are any APs available to freshmen except maybe AP Physics, maybe. At least not at Oak Grove. But what are the best ways to probably approach selecting which APs you guys want to and don't want to do? Does anyone have any input on that? Or even IBs too, sorry.
Just like a small note, like I would say don't choose AP just for the sake of taking AP. Like I know a lot of people who took world history AP just because it was like an AP class and they wanted to like, I guess, take it, but they didn't really like world history per se, and that it didn't really benefit them towards what they wanted to pursue or what they found out they wanted to pursue. So honestly, when you're picking whichever AP classes you want to take, I would say be smart about it and approach other people who've already taken those classes to really like understand if you're really, I guess, getting the full benefit of taking the class, because you're going to have to pay for the test at the end too. So there's also that aspect.
Yeah.
Kind of going on what Michelle said, like, so for me, I think I took 2 AP classes junior year and my senior year right now, and one of the AP classes I took junior year was AP Physics, and because like I was kind of lost in my direction of pathing of what I wanted to do after high school, and for the longest time, and then like I kind of realized like, oh, it's not what I wanted to do, it's what my parents wanted me to do, and I thought that I wanted to be an engineer, so I convinced myself that I wanted to take AP Physics, and that was like I'm sure if you love physics, you'll thrive. But I didn't thrive in that class. That was so hard. Oh yeah, that wasn't good for me. But kind of what Michelle was saying, definitely don't force like any classes that you definitely won't take. And especially if you already have those like lingering doubts, definitely research and talk to other people, because the people I talked to who took AP Physics like the previous year, they were the people who like excelled in it and really like they were like, oh yeah, you're gonna do so well, but you should really like reach out and like branch out to like other people and like kind of see like someone who's similar to your like kind of like learning abilities, kind of, if that makes sense. And yeah, and then for other AP classes that like if you're just like generally knowledgeable in it or like you're comfortable taking that class, and one of those classes for me was English, like I'm pretty like proficient at AP like English, literature, language, it's still very helpful to always have like a couple friends or just someone that like you're comfortable talking to if you need help or anything, because like having a study group or even just like a group chat where where you can oh, can you help me with this, or like do you understand this concept, or even like having someone who also struggles with you is like kind of reassuring in a way, because definitely in my case, like if I was like kind of struggling alone, like I had all these like doubts filling my head and I would overthink about it. But if you have like someone else with you who like help you go through that and you get to like those like awkward bumps in the year, like it'll definitely make your class like much more fun and easier to like go through.
Thank you so much, Chelsea. Yes, AP classes are very helpful. I'll get back into AP classes in a second. I want to make sure we're addressing all your guys' questions. So someone asked, are the classes from Oak Grove? I'm assuming you're asking if they're also at Andrew Hill, but I'm pretty sure every school has like their own different classes as well as similar classes. So I'm pretty sure like whatever Oak Grove's AP language or history or AP anything is, Andrew Hill will probably have the same thing. Oh, yes. The requirements are all basically the same to graduate. Or I think they are. I'm actually not too sure, but I think they are. They should be similar, but each school will offer their own spin or different variety of classes. And then Samantha asked, how would you describe a successful year? Does anyone want to take that? Because I don't know where to take that. Wow, we're just all unsuccessful or what?
Sorry.
Why did I ask you all to come here and talk? We're all I didn't want to show up unsuccessful people. Someone better talk. Thank you, Kenneth.
Yeah. I mean, like this question, I feel like a lot about high school is really, really ambiguous. And a successful year, it can mean a lot of things. Because like I'm gonna talk about like from personal experience. One of my first B's was in AP Calculus, but in a way, I still see that year as successful, even though I got a B that year because I learned a lot about balancing my social life and my academic life. So yeah, it's really ambiguous, but like yeah, just try to maintain yourself in like there are different there are different aspects of high school that you need to nurture and pay attention to, for sure.
Yeah, kind of going with what Kenneth said, like a successful year is really ambiguous. Like it really defines on how you see your type of success. But in my case, it was more over like kind of happiness with myself because I wasn't really like happy a lot of times because high school is a rough time, you know? But like it's gonna be like a rough time like going through high school. But if you like really lose yourself and you're not happy, it doesn't matter honestly how much A's like you get. Cause like I had straight A's, but I was like sad, you know? But then like I had a C in my AP Physics junior year, but I was like really happy that year. Like I was like thriving, you know, I felt happy with my friends, like I was content with myself. But like if you like think back to like sophomore year, like you could see like I would like underneath like all like like she's doing so much clubs or like she has so much A's, like I was really like stressed out and I felt lonely and just like kind of like not there, if that makes sense. So like really like although straight A's, not straight A's, like just grades overall are like important, like make sure like you're like content and happy with yourself, like above all.
Adding on to what Chelsea said, I think one important thing is to not compare yourself to others. Like, don't base your success off of what other people are doing, because that's really how you like are down on yourself and you feel like a failure when you're not. Because no matter what, your best, like if you do your best, you're gonna be successful. And I know that's like very cliche and everything, but it's true. At the end of the day, you can't really like beat up yourself for like for already doing your best.
Also, I'd like to say, like, I don't know, to me, successful year is like really such a big thing. And I would say just focus on each step you take along the way, honestly, because like you can have a horrible month and then your entire year, you can still deem it yourself to be successful if it like, yeah, it really depends on like the process. So I don't know. A lot of people around me like to say, trust the process. And like, I agree with it. Like, just every step you take along the way, whether it's good or bad, it's going to lead to, I don't know, up to you to decide. Yeah.
I think it sounds like for us, success is happiness, which I'm very grateful you all feel that way because I'm very happy you guys prioritize that. But I think with success or happiness or anything at all, putting it all on a year is kind of unrealistic. Like I've never had one year where I'm like, oh yeah, that year successful. It's always gonna be ups and downs. Maybe just take it day by day and be like, cool, I lost yesterday, but I'm gonna win today and we'll see what happens tomorrow. You know what I mean? And kind of just cut yourself some slack. Maybe you're gonna feel terrible about your freshman year, but you'll feel great about your sophomore or junior year. And either way, you're still trusting the process, like Michelle said, and then just going through it. Does anyone else have anything to add before we answer the next question? Okay. So if you need to do work to get your grade up, would Andrew Hill let you stay after class or I'm assuming in class? Does Michelle have anything to say on that? I think she's our only Andrew Hill kid.
I think that really depends on your teacher, honestly, and I think that goes for most schools in general. Some teachers, unfortunately, won't give you any extra opportunities to get your grade up, but some teachers will. And yeah, just stay on top of your work. And it's okay if you, I guess, fall behind a little bit. But when it comes to Andrew Hill, I think most of the teachers are very light on letting you make up your grade. So yeah, just make sure you talk to your teacher if you have any troubles in your classes.
I can add on to that. I also go to Andrew Hill, and um, a lot of the teachers I have, they're really lenient, and there's every other day there's office hours, so you don't really need to worry. They're not really strict on you, so if you have any makeup work, all my teachers, they give me a lot of chances to make it up, so you don't really have to worry about all that.
I'm so sorry, Joy. I keep forgetting about you. I don't mean to. I apologize. Thank you so much for your input, though. Hopefully that answered um, the question. And yeah, I think you guys both said it. Talk to your teachers. It helps. And then just because I want to get Miss Kristella and Frank talking, we're going to move into talking about extracurriculars. Sorry, I can't talk. And clubs. And does Kristella want to talk about something she did this year pertaining to clubs and why maybe she did it?
So this year I decided to really like go out my comfort zone and do something that I've never expected myself to do out of all my years. And it was making a club. So right now I'm currently the president of Anime Club, and we used to have one in the past, but I guess it died out. So I decided to revive it this year. And like for that, it was like a really big step for me, and I was really hesitant on doing it. Like I was this close to saying like, you know what? No, I'm not gonna do it. But I think it was kind of like this thought process of like, do I really want to tell like people in the future that like I did basically nothing in high school? Like I wasn't really involved in clubs as much, and I didn't really go out as much or like do anything really exciting. So I guess this like anime club or like even making a club in general was kind of like this big step of like, you know what? I'm gonna like go out of my comfort zone and I'm gonna show people that like I'm not like this like awkward or like quiet kid, I guess, you know? Like I just wanna change myself. I don't know. You know, the glow up, your high school glow up, it's like a step towards the process. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you, Kristella. Sorry to put you on the spot.
Going off of what Kristella said, I feel like this year, especially since like we were in COVID and there wasn't like that much of a social aspect, I think risks were a lot easier to take. And there were like a lot of opportunities were offered to us. So this year, like just like Kristella, I also launched a club, started revolving around the medical field, and then I also tried to work in other positions for other clubs as well. And with that, like you know, club work can be a little bit stressful, but if you like, you get to build new relationships and immerse yourself in new environments, and that is so rewarding. So do not be afraid to like take risks in high school when going into clubs or other extracurriculars.
And both of them are presidents of the clubs. I don't think Davis clubs have boards yet, but typically how it works in high school is each club has its own board, meaning they have president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, and all that stuff. But you guys don't have to commit to clubs by applying for one of those roles. I hope you all do though, because it is very beneficial and fun for you guys to take that leadership position. But you can also just be a general member and just attend events. And does either Frank or Kristella or maybe even Brittany want to pub some events like one that they have later today? Whoever wants to take it. This is just what event is that school?
VSU or the Vietnamese Student Union, we usually have fundraisers and events. And since this year, during the pandemic, we can't really do like our traditional events, but things that we have done are in-store fundraisers where people are still getting takeout and food and stuff. So we contact stores, and all the money that they give us 20% of the funds that we make from that day, and that gets donated to a charity that we choose. So today, the VSU has a Yogurtland fundraiser from 4 to 7 p.m. and all the proceeds will go to the Blue Dragon Children's Foundation in Vietnam.
Yes, and the flyer for that and the information will be on Davis Interact's Instagram story. So after this, you guys know where you should be going. And then again, anyone else want to share any of the other club events, just to give an idea of what clubs do besides just going to general meetings and stuff? I'm looking at Frank and Kristella again because you know why. Come on, you guys don't do stuff.
So, actually, an event that Kristella and Nathan as well, we worked together to host a anime watch-a-thon where we watched the anime series Cells at Work. And we watched through the first 3 episodes and played games along the way in order to get that interactive feel and social aspect with our members. And events with all clubs, it's how you build a better relationship with the members. So going into high school, if you want to become if you want to be a general member, then being involved in events is something that can be super fun for you guys.
And kind of I feel like a lot of people, when they think about clubs, they mainly just think about service clubs. Oh yeah, it's basically just a bunch of community service and stuff like that. But there's a bunch of different clubs that don't evolve around service. Anime Club, we're just a social club. And we just host fun events where people can just come in, watch anime, talk about anime, win some prizes, stuff like that. So you can just relax and let loose, I guess. So yeah, that's something that we also do.
Frank said clubs can be stressful, but typically clubs can also just be a good outlet and kind of just an opportunity to meet new people, which I think Kristella was kind of saying with social clubs. They are kind of just for you to be able to enjoy it and to kind of just relieve stress and relax if you can. And then service clubs Kristella brought up. I don't know how familiar you guys may be. Obviously, Interact is a service club. Does anyone else want to talk about service clubs? I know most of us here are involved.
I'm in Interact, and when you're a freshman, you can apply for board as freshman rep, and pretty much all you do is just promote the club more, and you can talk about Interact to other freshmen there to get them to be general members. So yeah, when you're a freshman, you can apply to be freshman rep for clubs and stuff.
Adding on to what Jade said, I'm also a freshman rep for Key Club, and I think it was a really good idea for me to do that because even though I'm online right now, when when next year we go back to school, I have connections, and there's a lot of things I'm familiar with now. So I think that joining a club in your freshman year is really a good idea because I don't think you're as packed with work as you would be in the next 3 years. So you should take advantage of that and put yourself out there.
And then does anyone want to go over the benefits of service clubs as opposed to social clubs? Not that one is better than the other. I think they're both valid, but does anyone want to cover maybe what are some of the incentives?
I think that when you do service clubs, you also get a lot of service hours, which is good for high school and college and stuff. And it's a part of the requirements, right? Service hours? Yeah.
They're not oh, well, they may be. Doesn't Andrew Hill have a service hour requirement? I thought I heard about that or something, right? I could be wrong.
I think only certain programs require it, and each program that does require it they actually require different amounts too, I think. I know the multimedia program, I don't know if they still have it during the pandemic, but before they had the requirement was 30 hours, I think. Or something, I don't know. But yeah. Not really at Andrew Hill.
Thank you. Sorry. Again, I go to Oak Grove. I don't know. Um, but even if it is 30 hours, that sounds like a lot, but really it's not too much because like service hours, if you're doing them consistently, they kind of add up very, very quickly. Um, yeah, I think that's all we have for service clubs. Does anyone want to add anything else on? And last, oh, Foot said that they're optional, yes, but helpful when it comes to college applications. And that's true. They're also helpful for certain scholarships because certain scholarships may pertain to service hours and stuff. And then since we're on the topic of clubs, and if no one has anything else to say, and we have the FSU president here, does Ms. Chelsea want to talk about that and maybe cover what are cultural clubs?
Thank you, Nathan. So kind of like the name, cultural clubs is basically clubs that focus on a specific culture that they either want to like just to celebrate and just kind of spread like that beautiful like knowledge to everyone around. And specifically, you don't have to be of that specific like culture to be part of it, because I'm Filipino and I am like the FSU, the Filipino Student Union president, but I also have Vietnamese like students in my like own club board, and like they're also very interested in it like as well, and like we kind of like spread around that culture at like such and so. But we also have like others at Oak Grove specifically. We have VSU, BSU, LSU, and then kind of like a branch of LSU, like folklorico. So yeah, and then cultural clubs are just a great way to like if you want to like learn about a specific like culture, like because like in that case, like for me with VSU, like I'm not of like Vietnamese descent, but like I love learning about it because also like all my friends are like Vietnamese, and I always like learning what they do. Yeah, you know. Or if you just want to join more of a culture that like you're not familiar with, you can also join like anything else and like kind of like celebrate their activities and events that they do. And yeah, I don't know who else is in a cultural club here. Oh, Brittany can go as a co-VSU president.
Thanks, Chelsea. I'm part of the Vietnamese Student Union, and like Chelsea said, you don't have to be that race or ethnicity or identify as that to be part of the club, but it's just a good time to explore. Like, even for me, I'm very like, my parents speak Vietnamese to me. I've always been around the traditions and things like that, but being part of a club in high school, it helps you like learn more about it and relate to other people about it. Because even if you are friends with like, let's say I'm friends with other Vietnamese people, we don't like sometimes just randomly talk about random traditions and things that we do, but like getting into a club with people who are focused around that, just getting to explore different aspects of that life, because not every Vietnamese person is the same, you know? Getting those different perspectives and being more knowledgeable in life, basically, it's just a very good time to branch out and learn more about yourself and learn about others. So that's the whole like purpose of cultural clubs.
Cool. Thank you guys. Sorry to put you both on the spot. I think that's everything for clubs. Does anyone want to cover anything else for clubs? Otherwise, we can maybe talk about some other extracurriculars, which are like sports and stuff. If anyone has anything to say, or band too. I know Isaac was in band.
Yeah, I could talk about marching band specifically. I didn't take the class, but so that's the cool thing about the teacher's name is Mr. Moore. He'll let you take the marching band class, and which is after school. But with that comes like a lot of time, and we'd spend maybe like 15 to 20 hours a week practicing, usually after school, and then on the weekends, on Saturdays, we would spend the whole day at Oak Grove, which is kind of intimidating, like if you really think about it, because it's so much time that you have to spend. But once you're in that like community of people and you're getting to meet new people, new connections, upperclassmen, then everything just starts getting easier. And everyone's super nice. Mr. Morris can be comforting. So it's just about exploring. I'm also in cross country and track, which is also pretty cool. And we need some people. So if you guys are interested in that, you guys should definitely, sign up. You can always ask me, and then I'll relay information to coach. But No, yeah. I think doing sports is very helpful. It definitely gives you like a break from all school because you're all like thinking about homework, thinking about turning this assignment in. But then when you start doing a different sport, you kind of distract yourself, and it's relieving at sometimes.
Yes. And cross country conditioning should be starting this summer or should be starting soon, right?
This week.
Oh, this
Yeah,
week?
we have practice this week. Yeah. Sorry.
Okay.
Yeah, we have
No,
practice.
no, you're good. I just in the past they've always had like conditioning open to upcoming freshmen and stuff. So I'd maybe if you guys are interested in cross country or even track, which if you're interested in long distance track, you should definitely check out cross country. Maybe talk to Isaac and see if he can get you in and see if you could at least familiarize yourself with the coaching. He's a very, very cool guy. Very nice guy. And then I think that's all extracurricular wise. Unless you guys, again, if you have any questions at any moment, please put it in the chat. But we'll go and just talk about like mental health now because that is a big thing that you're facing a lot more in high school. I know everything kind of seems big in middle school, but you deal with a lot more like stress and maybe anxiety in high school, and sometimes it's just hard to manage. So I just want to cover maybe how do some of us manage and cover that, or how do you go and actively get resources or help for yourself if you're in need. Does anyone want to take that away from me? Because we kind of did touch on the topic a little bit earlier. Okay. I'll go into it then. So obviously, right now at this time, you guys may be very anxious or nervous. I know I was, and one of the biggest things that happened to me, I think first week of high school, is I'd always have a panic attack in like the middle of the hallway when walking from my next class, one class to the next, just because it was so many people, and I'm already like naturally claustrophobic. And one of my first classes was inside of like a little building. So for me, I just found myself constantly like freaking out in the sense, just a very stereotypical panic attack. But each panic attack is, of course, very different and circumstantial to you. But for me, it was just very uncomfortable and unbearable. And it was just from everything all at once, just going to a new huge transition, just again, like I said, being crowded and just going to a bigger school and just feeling very uncomfortable. And I think I when it first happened to me, I didn't know what it was. And then the only reason why I was able to figure out like, oh, I have a problem with anxiety from before that point and then even after was by reaching out to a social worker at Oak Grove. And each school should have a technically a team of social workers. They should have a lot more than they do have, but I'm sorry, school funding sucks. But if you are facing any like emotional issues, or if like me, you run into just feeling constantly like anxious or nervous or even like unpresent at times, it is worth reaching out to your social worker. Because I know like in at least middle school, you can talk to your counselor more so about like emotional problems, but in high school, you more so go to your social worker because if you go to like your counselor in high school about that, they'll probably just refer you to them because your counselors are more academic based, at least at Oak Grove. I don't know if that's different for other schools. But yeah, it can be a little bit intimidating at first because at least at Oak Grove, it's like its own separate building from the office. So you never really go in there unless you need to go in there. But they're all very, very nice. I promise. No one has that job unless they really want to do that job. And their job is to only help you when it comes to your mental well being, your physical well being, and everything you know, need in that regard. So if you're just feeling like overwhelmingly stressed, overwhelmingly sad, maybe you're just struggling with something, it's definitely worth talking to them. Does anyone else want to add on to that? Besides me from just talking about myself? Sorry, guys.
Our school's social worker's name is Miss Val, right? I think. I
Yeah.
haven't personally had experience with her, but one of my friends has, and it might seem kind of daunting to be talking to someone like completely new, a stranger, and like I don't know, like some people view like the student teacher relationship as like some people hate their teachers or staff or whatever, but like if you ever need someone to like reassure you and like to like reassure yourself that you have support, then your school's social worker is there for you as well.
They're also there for your friends. If you know anyone who's maybe in a dangerous situation at home, maybe they're struggling with like substance abuse or they're struggling with self-harm, which are very, very big issues in high school and even at your age too. I know you guys probably know about that in some regards. I at least know I did. Those are very, very serious issues. And if you think someone may be, you know, in danger at all, or maybe could use help, you can also go in there and just let someone know anonymously through a form. I think your academic counselor should have a little, or there should be like a presentation explaining how to do that. I would take note of that in case you guys ever feel that way. And yes, it is confidential to that regard. But if you anonymous, there is anonymous like reporting and stuff. So like if someone is in danger and you don't want to be like you feel bad because you feel obligated that they're your friend or something and you should speak up, but you don't want them to be mad at you because it can be a little bit confusing that way. But yes, you can go to them for anything in that regard. And it's worth going and talking to them and just seeing where you are. And maybe if you do need to work through something, it's better to work through it with an actual professional and with someone whose job that is, as opposed to just your friend. But at the same time, you can also, you know, depend on your friends and vent and talk to your friends, and that's okay. I know I bug Isaac all the time, but like to actually work stuff out, it is very, very good to talk to your professional. And it can be intimidating, but I think it is such a like, you know, it's in our society's view, it's like more of an uncomfortable topic and it's like a taboo topic and not something you're supposed to talk about. But a lot more people deal with mental health issues than you realize. I mean, even students, adults, like little kids, it's just part of being human. And I think in order to make sure you're the the best you can be and not just like saying you're not that already, but being at a place where you feel you're the best, it's worth working some of that stuff out and discussing that with them. And again, even if it's mental health issues you're struggling with, if you're struggling with self-harm stuff, you can go and speak to them. If you're struggling with substance abuse, which is a big issue in high school, like I said, particularly Oak Grove, um, because that's just its own thing, but it is worth speaking out and getting resources. And even if they, you know, they can maybe even refer you to other like places to get help. It's just worth talking to them. Anything else anyone wants to bring up? I know we're supposed to end at like 4. We'll probably end at 4:05 because sorry we started a little late. Does anyone else want to bring anything up or any last minute questions?
Just to add on, whether you reach out to a trusted friend, adult, or a professional, I would urge you not to like bottle it all up because I personally had that issue in the past and I don't really feel comfortable talking to other people about it. But I would definitely say try your best not to bottle it all up because you're essentially breaking yourself down little by little and that's like not healthy. And it's easier said than done, but over time I would really encourage everyone to try to find, I guess, a healthy outlet. For me, I um, I went to my creative side to, I guess, release my stress most of the time. But yeah, try to find a healthy outlet. Definitely, that whether it's like journaling, exercising, definitely. But if you find yourself, it might be hard to identify at first, but if you find yourself going to an outlet or taking it out in some way that's not healthy, you definitely need to seek help about that. And there's absolutely nothing wrong about seeking help. Okay.
Thank you. And there's no shame in accidentally forming a bad habit or accidentally, going into a bad outlet because you're just trying to find some form of like release. And it's very easy to just do something that can be a little bit unhealthy for you when you're already feeling bad or overwhelmed or stressed. You know what I mean? So there's absolutely no shame in that. I think when you do go to a social worker or even talk to them or even just explore outlets, then no one's gonna shame you or knock you for that. They're there only to help you. So thank you again, Michelle. Does again anyone else want to talk about anything on that topic, or do any of my speakers want to bring up anything that they just wanted to talk about today, or any last minute questions from you guys? Otherwise, I think we'll just close it soon with like one last piece of advice from each of us. Is that okay? Okay. I don't know who wants to start first. You guys have something eager to say, but like, what's one thing you think everyone here should kind of know or take with them, or one thing you at least want them to take with them from the end of this meeting? Go back. Sorry. Go.
Isaac.
Okay, I'll start off first. So one thing that I noticed, like, this is only my second year of high school, but one of the biggest things is motivation, and that can, as much as you can say that you will be okay, there'll be some things that'll just like hit you unexpectedly, and then you'll fall down. Like, this is very cliche too, but like you'll just end up in a divot, like a big hole, and you'll feel like you can't get out of it. But the one thing that I'm starting to realize now is that it's hard to force yourself to do something that you don't want to do, especially when you feel like you can't do it. But I say just take your time and be really patient with yourself. And when you get that little bit of motivation, hold on to it and just keep doing that, because it's, especially times right now, it's really difficult to like try to get out of this hole. You're stuck in here, you barely talk to anyone. Oh, I mean, through the phone, but you don't see anyone physically, and that like social interaction is so difficult. And yeah, so any bit of motivation, take it. But if you feel like you can't do anything, then don't do anything. There's nothing wrong with that. Everyone else is doing the same thing. So yeah.
Going off of what Isaac said, I think you can find motivation in a lot of different mediums, and one of them can be surrounding yourself with good people by providing that friendly environment for yourself, an environment where you're able to express yourself freely and enjoy those who are around you. I think you'll have a really good time in high school.
Okay. The last words from anyone else? It doesn't have to be as prolific. It could be anything you want to say. Sorry, Michelle. Didn't want to cut you off. Just want to make sure everyone gets a chance to talk. Go ahead.
Not to like take kind of like a different turn, but sexual harassment, I feel like that happens a lot in high school. Well, maybe it's just Andrew Hill, but I feel like generally each school has like some issue in that. If you are like being sexually harassed or like abused, or you see someone that is, please speak up about it. Like, I've never been in the situation myself, so I can't say much about it. But from what I have heard about, at least, I feel like a lot of people often hesitate to speak up for themselves or others because they feel like, oh, it's not that big of a deal. Like it didn't affect me that much, or that this person that much. But if someone is making you uncomfortable, you should definitely speak to someone you trust about it, and better an adult or a teacher at the school. And also, oftentimes there's going to be victim blaming, and if you are the victim, you might feel like you're in the wrong because this other person, or even you bring this upon yourself. Like, I don't know how to like really say it, but I don't know.
No, you said it great. You're good, Michelle. Thank you. I was gonna bring that up as mine, so I feel a little bit robbed, but that is a very serious topic. Again, I feel robbed. I was gonna bring that up at the end, but thank you, Michelle. I guess I'll jump into what I wanted to say about it now, just so we can cover that. Sexual harassment and sexual abuse are very big in high school, I think, and in my opinion, big is at least one person or more. I mean, the average amount should be none, and sadly, it's not. You know what I mean? And it's sad to say, but as you guys are getting older and you're just going to face more of these issues that are just really heartbreaking, but also just difficult. And you guys need to be aware and also as supportive as possible. Again, substance abuse is one, which we kind of covered, which would be a negative outlet. But with this one, it just, it's very, very harsh. And the difference between sexual harassment and sexual abuse is that, like, some terms of sexual harassment are not technically illegal, while all types of sexual abuse are. Some types of sexual harassment are not, which is why sometimes you may not get the best support from schools or even court systems because it is a little bit iffy. But if you are, ever sexually harassed or abused or know someone who is, you do need to speak up and report it because well, there are a lot of reasons. It's to best help yourself. If that does happen to you, you should get some form of maybe therapy or have someone to talk to because that can be very traumatic and stuff for yourself and just to kind of work things out. But also, if someone is a dangerous individual in that regard, if someone is abused you sexually or anyone else they can do that again. So you kind of need to spread awareness about that individual in order to prevent that from happening again. Because I think in silence there's more opportunities for it to happen again. Yeah, you're not snitching. You're not that's not a thing. Thank you, Michelle. That's You're just making sure that everyone is safe, including yourselves, because it's not like you get sexually abused once and then it can't happen again. So if you know if you do report it at school and no one's taking you seriously, then at least make sure you're spreading the name and face of your sexual abuser or harasser. And honestly, that may be scary, so I don't think you should ever do it. Yes. Thank you. But you should never, at least, feel alone, and maybe um, you may feel intimidated to tell other people about it because you feel guilt, like it was your fault, or you feel shame. But like you are not your fault for being manipulated or having someone take advantage of you in that regard. Like in no way is it your fault. It may feel that way, but I promise it's not. It's entirely on them, and that person should face the consequences of their actions and should be known by others as being dangerous so that doesn't happen again. And again, social workers are a great resource to go to. You can talk to any teacher, of course. You can talk to your family, which may be a lot more intimidating, I know, but it is worth speaking up because in silence, it runs a risk for it to happen again, and you may not get the best help that you really need. And it is again another one of those taboo topics that is just very difficult, but it's not your fault at the end of the day. And one of the sad things about high school too is some of you guys are going to possibly, I hope not, I really, really hope not, but some of your friends may end up being, those people who are bad. And don't guilt yourself either for being like, oh, why was I nice to this person? Or, oh, why was I even friends with this person? It's all on them. On all sides of the spectrum, they're the one in the wrong, and it's not you. Just make sure that what you do is support what's right, and that's by supporting the victims or survivors and just pushing forward that that person faces the consequences of their action. Even if the school system, which honestly in most cases from what I've seen in the past, they don't do the best job, I'll be honest with you, from what I've seen and from people I've heard and even people I know. So as long as you are supporting the victims or survivors yourself, and as long as you're putting that foot forward, it's good. I Yes, sorry. I have a few yes. But that's all I had to say on that topic. Just make sure you guys use your voice in sexual harassment, sexual abuse, of course, and speak up for others, but also in all things. Just make sure, like Frank said, you're in healthy environments and relationships, and kind of just be good to yourself and others. Um, we're going a little bit over, but that's fine. I want to make sure we get at least one last word from like everyone. So if you have something important to say that you want to say, please do so. Oh yeah, sorry. Add on, princess. My bad.
Sorry, I'm kind of outside right now, but I'd like to add on to what Nathan said about speaking up. It is important that if you know someone or you have been sexually assaulted or abused, you do have to say something. Like, I know it's scary, but it's not only for your own benefit, but for the people around you. Personally, at my school, there was a boy who sexually harassed about 6 girls and didn't, like, no one spoke up until he graduated. So it wasn't really the school's responsibility to take care of anymore. But you don't ever want it to go that far. It's really like important, like for just for the safety of others too. And school is really helpful when stuff like that happens. You can always reach out. They do take action, and yeah, I know it's like scary, but it's still possible. Sorry. um, like, don't be afraid of snitching either. That's not a thing in high school. Like, pointing out the bad people is not snitching. It's literally just like speaking truth. I guess one advice I'd also like to say before we end off is that like only do as much as you can. Like, don't overwhelm yourself and like push yourself and like try to do like everything just like to do it. I don't know, like taking a lot of AP classes and doing like all these extracurriculars, even if you can't handle it, you just want to do it to get in a good college. It's not worth it. Just do what you can, because at the end of the day, like, you'd rather be good at one or two things than be decent at everything, because that's what will make you stand out. And a lot of what school does is like teach you that community college isn't like a good thing, but it is. Like, I don't know, a lot of people praise UCs when community college like is just as good, and it's actually a higher transfer rate. Like, so yeah, that's all I want to say. Sorry for not speaking much today, but
So good, princess. Thank you. I appreciate you as always. I also want Ms. Joy to just read out loud what she said.
Oh, okay. So like on my view of this, I think people always like it's easy to listen to people and be like, well, it was your fault for like continuing to talk to this person, but like it's never your fault if you get sexually harassed. Like it's 100% on that person. You know, no one asked for this to happen, and you never give anyone consent for that to happen. So like I think the most important thing is like when someone is like talking to you about their experience, it's something like really serious, you know, and it's like from the bottom of their heart. So it's easy to not to like judge them, but in the end, you should always listen to them, and they trust you, so you should definitely help them out.
Thank you,
oh,
Joy.
sorry. Another thing I wanted to say is that a lot of people don't know what sexual coercing is, which is definitely a thing. It's when like they force you, or like they keep asking and begging you until you say yes, and that's still a form of like not like you're not really consenting. You're just doing it to like get the person off your back. Coercing is a big problem in high school. I feel like a lot of a lot of it happens, and you just need to know that like that is still wrong. Like, it's forms of manipulation and like guilt tripping, and you just need to be aware that that can happen.
Yeah, and it's the sad thing about like sexual harassment is that some of the definitions are kind of odd, but basically, if it's anything in any sexual regard that makes you feel uncomfortable or like any unwanted sexual attention towards you, it's probably sexual harassment. And I think the biggest thing is like calling people out on it. So if someone's doing that, if you see that happening to someone else or happening to you, just call it out, because again, in silence, it kind of just lets it happen. And we don't want that to happen, because obviously high school and everywhere, honestly, should be a comfortable and safe place for everyone to live and be. Yes, that is true. It is definitely about how you feel and stuff. And you deserve to feel safe. And you deserve to feel comfortable and well. And all of that. Even if you know you maybe don't feel that way because I've been through that. I know it sucks. I promise you deserve to feel good and you deserve to be safe and comfortable and you deserve to be happy and all that stuff. Um, and don't undermine it. It's very, very serious. I hope that never happens to any of you guys. I apologize. I hope it doesn't, but yeah. Sorry we're running over, but you know what? I'd rather talk about this than not talk about it. So, is there any other words on this or any other last words, in general that anyone wants to say? I know we haven't heard from Kristella maybe, or Brittany has anything to say, or Karen, or Kenneth, or Isaac, or just anyone at all.
Yeah, I just wanted to say that I think it was really good that we addressed the like kind of the elephant in the room today. And it's honestly an issue that's like been neglected a lot. But I'm glad that like as of recently in today's and age, like people are being held accountable and people see quarantine as like a bad thing, but like out of quarantine we've had like the BLM movement and Me Too movement. So I'm just really happy that like we're really advocating for speaking up and shit like that and stuff like that. So like yeah, oh my bad language, but like I'm just really glad that people are advocating for themselves and having their voices heard. And as for high school itself, in general, like we're all giving pretty similar superficial advice, but I know people like some people are really like they want to come in with like a set game plan or formula, but there really is no formula because everyone has smaller unique experiences that define themselves and their high school experiences. So it's okay to feel like nervous or unsure or like because I remember like my first day of high school, like as a freshman, like I could not sleep the night before. But every year, like you slowly get more and more comfortable, and each year in itself is drastically different. And each of those years gives you different things to prepare, like for yourself. Like it defines your character and like gives you experiences that you will bring with you for the rest of your life. So yeah, I think just try to keep an open mind. It's really vague, but like everyone's experience is different, so you will soon find your own too.
Something I wanted to add on is that always have a friend nearby. It can be anyone. It can be a sibling. It can be a friend. It can be a teacher, someone that you trust with anything that you want to talk about. Because personally, having a small circle of friends that I have right now has been like life-changing in high school, and they've always been there for me, no matter if it's friendships, no matter if it's school. They're always there to relate to you and to support you. And then the one like last thing I wanted to say is don't worry about things that you can't control. Like if I told myself that in freshman year, it would have been great because like earlier we said, trust the process. Everything will work out in the end and you will be okay in the end. High school is 4 years and you're going to get through it and you're going to be thriving at the end, no matter where you end up, because life is what you make of it. And yeah, don't worry about things you can't control and always make mistakes because that's how you're going to learn.
Anyone else?
Up to the I would like to go. Sorry, my camera's off. There's a glare, but kind of going what Brittany said, especially like in my experience and like what I've seen from like other people's like perspectives. Definitely give yourself a break. Like just being here, like like on the stage, like itself an accomplishment. Like just make sure like always give yourself a break, especially like it's okay. It's obviously like very normal to feel like stressed out during these like times. We're in a pandemic, we're like distance learning. It was like a very hard transition. Like it was very sudden, and especially if you guys go back to school and like for all of us like as well. Make sure you guys give yourself a break, and it's okay to take a rest. Like I've like neglected like taking breaks and taking rests when like I desperately needed them, and like now I know like the importance of them. So I just wanted to advocate on like even if you feel like you don't need it, just give yourself a break, even if it's like 5 minutes, 30 minutes. Like you're gonna like appreciate it way later, and then like so you don't like break down when you do like the simplest task. It's just very important when you like go by. So yeah.
Does anyone else want to say anything? Sarah, you have any last words? Anything you just want someone to leave with this meeting on their mind?
what I wanted to say, kind of similar to like what everyone else said, is um, definitely don't be so hard on yourself. And I know like every day, like it seems like things won't change, but definitely just like take your time, don't rush yourself, and always try to reach out to a friend and connect with them again, and like talk over things. Because I know like I don't really talk about my feelings a lot, so sometimes I reach out to a friend, which is very helpful. So yeah.
Thank you, Sarah. Sorry, I keep asking and asking, but if anyone else wants anything, please speak up. Otherwise, I think we're okay. Okay. I'm just gonna say my piece because I talk a lot. I'm opinionated, but again, I really do just want to encourage you all to speak up when you feel you need to speak up, because I feel like, especially at our age, especially in high school, especially just in the world in general, you're always gonna have people trying to silence you because you, I don't know, a lot of different reasons, but just speak up if it's something that you believe in, if it's something you know is wrong, if it's something you know is right, if it's something that just shouldn't be happening. Speak up and use your voice, because that's honestly the strongest thing that any of you guys do have. And you make enough noise, you can change anything. That sounds stupid, and like it sounds so like I think Kenneth said the word earlier. I don't know why I don't remember it. Superficial. But I promise if you guys do hold true to that, it's good. And sometimes speaking up isn't gonna be great. Sometimes it's gonna get you, to lose like something that you're very value. Sometimes maybe it'll set you back a step, but I still think it's worth it. And to show you that I put my money where my mouth is, I've spoken up on issues before, and I've lost board positions, one, and I think that's still the very proudest thing I've ever done, because in doing so, I was able to make sure that the people who need to be respected are still going to try and be respected, and I was able to make sure that what's right is known and what's right is going to be happening. And I think each of you do know what is right and what's wrong, and you have your own opinions on what should be happening and what shouldn't be happening. So just make sure you let that be known. It's important to listen to conversations, and of course to listen to everything going on, be aware of it, but it's also important to speak your own truth and to be honest with yourselves and honest with everyone else, and just make sure to share that, because you all have wonderful voices that I know you guys should be sharing. And I really can't wait to hear them next year if you go to OG, or to hear them wherever you guys are. So thank you all for coming. I really appreciate it. Thank you to my speakers. All you middle schoolers are good to go if you want to leave. I would love to have my guest speaker stay for a second, and Miss Foot too if she didn't mind. So thank you guys, and bye.